Well, now we are in week 7, or 3 quarters of the way through the course. I told you it'd go fast, but here we are, getting toward the end of September. So last week we talked about the social determinants of health, and the social determinants of health really touch on all the litany of factors that play into where we are right now, where we may go, and what contributes to our health behaviors and health outcomes. And basically, it's a very broad topic. Another way of looking at that is the socio-ecological model, which is another way of looking at those factors and looking at the variables that impact what we do and our outcomes. And so it's variables and levels that start at the intra-dependent level, so within you, so your genetics, for example, all the way up through policy, and how those factors work independently and interdependently, so with one another, to contribute towards what we do. And so when we look at the social determinants of health, it is very broad. But because it is so broad, it also is implicit that it's constantly evolving because those variables change very fast. 10 years ago, all right, we weren't really thinking about, well, what is the impact of smartphones on children? Because it really wasn't a thing. But now we are. And now that is squarely in the wheelhouse of a social determinant of health. How much time are young children spending on tablets, on smartphones? We're not just worried about them sitting in front of the TV, because we have a TV downstairs, and I probably am in front of it maybe an hour a week, because that's just not how things are anymore. Things are constantly evolving. And so with that, your reading for this week is on the forecasting the future of public health. And it's just that, it's forecasting. Things happen so fast. And we are doing our best, not just as public health professionals, but as just adults, to keep up with it. And so, the reading, you'll really be focusing on that. And, think about just how fast things have changed. The use of technology, vaping, all of a sudden, it's out there, and now people are dying, and now it's being pulled off the shelves. CBD oil, 2 years ago, I really didn't know what that was. Now it's everywhere. Even this little town of Beaver Dam, they sell CBD oil. Speaking of which, it's Beaver Dam's homecoming, so that's why I'm wearing this shirt. But anyway, so things are constantly evolving. And so, as public health professionals, it's going to be our responsibility to keep up with the times. And when you look at that really implies that public health, it reinforces rather, that public health is not just a research-based field. It's not just for people in universities and in offices who look at old data. It's very applied, and it has to be, because things move so incredibly fast. So this week you'll be focusing on that, forecasting the future of public health and looking at that. But the field of public health, how we ourselves track things has changed incredibly fast as well. It was only 175 years ago, thereabouts, where John Snow really kicked off the whole field of public health by identifying the source of a cholera outbreak at the Broad Street water pump. And, he did that by mapping out where people, got sick, and obviously it was done by hand. Well, now, everything's through GPS, and it's all electronic, and it's so much faster and easier, and a lot of times that's fantastic and that's wonderful. And it's just important that we, again, keep up with technology and do what we can to make our work not easier, but more effective and more up-to-date with the needs of the public that we are trying to serve. But now your assignment for this week, we're back to the discussion week. And the topic is not so much about high technology. It's about when things fall apart in infrastructure. And we're going to talk about the Cape Town water crisis. And, what's very disconcerting is, things like this happen far too often. And, we can look at an article in South Africa and think it's a half a world away. But the truth is, we could have just swapped out Cape Town for Flint, Michigan. And again, as public health professionals, it's not just the science, it's the advocacy. It's, the boots on the ground, the ears to the ground. It's being out among the public that we're trying to serve to try to identify problems before they emerge, and when they do, to be there to serve people, to go back to that social justice. As public health professionals, I got a chance to talk to some undergrad biology students when I was down in Davenport for homecoming, and well, for meetings. And I told them that the reason St. Ambrose is a perfect place for a public health program is because in the field of public health, if you want to sum up what we do, we carry the flag of social justice. That's our job. And that's our job as Ambrosians, and so that connection there is very strong in public health. So it is a discussion week. So take the opportunity. Read the article, discuss with one another, bounce ideas off one another. Take time to really think critically about this. But then I know you are looking ahead rather, to your final paper and the presentation that comes with it. I did a pretty long post in the discussion board, just sort of laying out, what I would like you guys to make sure you're paying attention to as you formulate your paper. So please read that and reference that as you go forward. So that's all I have for this week. So take care of yourself, take care of one another, and be well.